That's a creative question. I guess it could be, because it's not actually you, but it's a representation, or it's something that signifies that you exist, or that you underlie, or a person underlies their birth certificate.
Okay, fair answer. In a scene from the movie V for Vendetta, the title character tips over a domino, which in turn causes 1 million dominoes to collapse. Is that kind of what we're facing from an economic perspective?
Yeah. I think that that's in some ways reflective. But again, I would continue to go back that there is a managed deconstruction taking place. So it's not just a matter of things are not happening just by chance or just out of control, believe it or not, because there's a lot of chaos out there throughout the world. But things are actually being deconstructed, and they're being done so in a managed way.
Okay, so
the one thing that
there's an agenda here. I'll go along with that. So from that perspective, what will the world economy look like post-derivative holocausts?
I think clearly you'll have something very similar to the EU. You'll have a kind of a global economic system where the sovereignty, I know you've written a book which included that concept, where there's no more national sovereignty, but just like in our country, we've got a central government that is telling our individual sovereign citizens and states what to do. Well, you're going to have that on a global scale. You're going to have a global bank that we have here today. We'll have very few of those, and they'll be controlling all of the credit that's out there, and a central global authority will be directing all the assets and all the resources to where they think that they should be directed to.
Now, a few weeks ago, Iceland, actually, I just did a story on this. Iceland has gone out there and they started to arrest bankers. I mean, they've kicked the bankers out of their country in a big way. They've repudiated debts to the IMF. What's to say that won't happen? There are a lot of people who are very wary of the global banker, myself included there. And when the global bankers try and impose such a global system, what is to stop people from turning around and doing what Iceland's doing, saying, no way, we're not going to have this, we're going to take you out, we'll put you in jail?
Absolutely, Brett. There is hope. I've got to say I'm pretty honored to be on your show today because your work really is a bulkhead for sounding the call for freedom and to inalienable constitutional principles. So I'm privileged to be on your show. What we're advising people to do, we believe that when investors, everyday Americans, put their money in the global system uses their money to benefit themselves or to benefit the global system. So with all due respect to any of your audience out there, anybody who has a bank account with a global bank, they're aiding and abetting in what the global system is doing. And as a matter of fact, they're providing this global bank, whether it be a savings account, checking account, or CD, they're providing a no-interest loan. We're not getting anything for our money. As a matter of fact, we're losing money when we put money into a bank, particularly a global bank, and then they're taking our money and they're using it for their purposes. What we just went through very quickly, Brent, was that the global system with these derivatives, again, going back to 1998 when we were prohibited from regulating them and the derivatives took off. The derivatives, they're very leveraged, which means $1 gets invested into thousands of dollars or leveraged into thousands of dollars. And so they took our money in their global system, they leveraged it, they created a bubble. And what investors need to understand that the only way you make money is when profits are taken. And when profits are taken, it requires that asset or that market to go down. And so the global system created a bubble in real estate and the stock market and many other assets, but using derivatives to do that. And, one can say that was the purpose of protecting these derivatives. And then they took their profit, which crashed our wealth. It crashed our 401ks. It crashed our stock market holdings. It crashed our real estate. And once all these things crashed, I guess, Brent, there's an old saying, injury upon insult, and the global systems politicians, which of course they pay the campaign contributions to them, they then so-called bailed out these global financial institutions with our taxpayer money. But you can't look upon it as a bailout. It's more of they were re-liquefying the assets back into their institutions and into their system. And I've written articles about exactly how they did this. And then what they do is, or what they're doing right now as we talk, they're taking our taxpayers bailed out money, and then they're buying back our assets that crashed at pennies to the dollar. You see, so when you think about when are derivatives going to crash the system, well, they crashed the system back in 2007 to 2009 to bring down and deconstruct the current system. And when the powers that be need to do that again, to continue their reconstruction or their deconstruction and then creation of the new system, when they need derivatives, when they need to do that, then once again derivatives will be used to do that.
We have a caller here.
And it's an ongoing process.
We have a caller, Richard, Idaho, is calling in. Richard, welcome to the show. You're on the Global Freedom Report with Tom Filer. Richard, are you there? Did we lose Richard?
Well, that'll be...
Hang on. Hello, Richard. Okay, we're not hearing Richard, so I don't know whether he dropped off. If you dropped off, please call back. If you didn't drop off, in the studio, see if you can get Richard up on the line and let me know. When we booked you for this show, Tom, originally we were looking at later in July, and you had told my producer you thought that might be too late. This is pretty imminent what you're looking at in terms of a derivative market and a crash, isn't it?
Well, again, we have to understand that it's an ongoing process. And so, for example, a lot of people are worried about the U.S. dollar crashing, but it's very slowly crashed. There's a title of a book I read called Slow Motion Riot. So I guess if there's something, a slow motion crash, that's really what's been going on with so many assets out there and so many markets and so many financial institutions. But, Brent, there is hope. There really is. What we who understand these things need to learn to do is to get our money out of their system. And we can do that. We can get our money out of their system, and we can redirect our assets, our investments, our hard-earned money into our own system, into assets that we own, not assets which the global financial system would use our money for.
Such as?
Well, natural resources. We're so used to investing in the stock market. That's something we've done for many years. The stock market is part of the global system. They set it up, they run it, they sit on the board of directors. There's crony capitalism, with Washington and all that. So the stock market is their playground. Now, you can still make money in it because a lot of their wealth is embedded in the stock market. So that's why the stock market is so high now, despite there being really no positive or strong fundamental underpinnings of the market, of the stock market or the economy. So they can run their stock market up even without any economic fundamentals. But for example, we need to diversify out of, their system like that into owning, for example, natural resources, owning income-producing real estate, owning farmland, owning agribusinesses, owning your own business. America is one of the greatest economic engines in the world because there are just millions upon millions of people who own their own business. They're not taking their money and giving it to the global system to invest in, their businesses, but they're investing in their own business. And so we've got to continue to create opportunities, and this is where every single day my partners and I work very hard to create greater opportunities for our investors to wean themselves out of the investment that the global system benefits and be able to create investments that are truly their own investments and that are outside of the global system.
Fantastic. Now we've got Richard back. Richard from Idaho, welcome to the Global Freedom Report. You're on the air.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Richard. Welcome. I'm glad that you persevered. You're on with Tom Filer.
Well, I appreciate Tom coming on and explaining the best that he can to us lay people out there about these derivatives. I want him to know he's on the best Micro Effect show. It's unfortunate that you're only on once a week, though, Brent.
Well, I used to be on 5 days a week, but let me tell you, it's quite a production to do a show like this 5 days a week. And my health and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. I appreciate the kind thoughts. Do you have a question or comment for Tom?
No, I've made my comment. I think that a lot of the questions will be answered throughout the program, but thank you, Tom and Brent, for all that you do for the cause of freedom and liberty.
Appreciate that. Richard, let me ask you our question of the day. What are you doing to stretch your dollar?
Well, every year since I was a kid, I've grown a garden.
Sure. Good. That's good. That's certainly an investment in your own life and everything. That's excellent. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the kind sentiments about the show, and thank you for your call, Richard. Appreciate it. And did you give your address over to when you called in?
No, she said I had to go on the air first.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to ask to get addresses from you. I don't know that he can get you back there unless you were to call back. Will you do me a favor? Call back and give him your address so we can send you a copy of Trading Debt for Wealth.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it, and thanks for listening.
Bye.
Tom, what about precious metals? Gold and silver. I'm always telling people get gold and silver. It's a not so much for investment, but for security. What's going to happen to the precious metals markets in response to whatever's going to come from this derivative situation and any subsequent domino effect?
Well, gold and silver have done very, very well. My partner and I started recommending it to our clients back in, I guess, early last decade, 2000, 2001 or so. And we were wondering if it was too late back then. It had gone up $100 recently or whatever announced, and certainly buying gold since then has proven worth it. That is one of a number of diversified investments that I think are very, very good. Richard just said something which every American should strive to try to do, and that is to grow their own garden. That's part of what I was referring to, is either owning farmland, getting a few acres, buying, instead of investing in the stock market, invest in 5 acres of farmland and get a farmer, lease it to him to grow food. It can provide an income for you, but it can also provide sustenance for you as well. And that's one thing that we've put together a number of opportunities in what we call sustenance investing, where you can invest in natural resources as an investment, which have traditionally or historically provided over a period of time good investments, but you can also draw from it for sustenance or food, should the situation come in need of that.
Excellent. We are just about out of time, and I want to make sure I give out the info about Trading Debt for Wealth. My guest has been Tom Filer, Managing Director of Fountain Wealth Associates. He's the co-author of Trading Debt for Wealth, which is a guide to eliminating household debt and implementing prudent personal finances. Now, for more information on Tom's work, you can go to www.Wall Street to Small Street. That's T-O. Wall Street to Small Street.com. And if you want a free copy of Trading Debt for Wealth, give a call either to the Micro Effect at 208-935-0642. That's 208-935-0642. And just give your address and tell them you want a copy of it, and they'll get the info to me, and I'll send you the copy. Or call the Global Freedom Report off the air at area code 512-879-3528. Again, 512-879-3528. The first 20 of you will get a free copy of trading debt for wealth. Tom, thanks so much for spending this time with us. God bless you and your work.